In 2018, I was going camping and got into a really bad car accident on the way there and broke most of my right leg. I was broken physically, emotionally, mentally, and really spiritually. I wasn't able to even stand up on my own, and I missed work for about 8 weeks, which as a teacher who really loved her job, that probably was the hardest part. I realized that I had begun to find my identity in my job, that I loved what I was doing, but there was some pride that was rooting in that, and I think that God in his kindness pulled me out of that. And so in that, I just can't imagine having experienced that kind of pain and not have had the hope and peace of Jesus in my life. When I was in college, I don't think I would have said that I had a very missionally minded heart. I was very focused on what I was doing and graduating in my own world and being involved with my own friends, and I really would not have been able to tell you any people who didn't know Jesus when I was in college. And when I graduated, I worked at a Christian camp, and I knew more Christians. And I got very convicted towards the end of that season as I was spending time in the Word and realizing God's call on our lives to share our faith, and thinking about, if I really believe that God is the Savior of the universe and that he sent his Son to die on the cross for my sins, why am I not seeking to have a relationship with people who don't know that truth? So when I moved back to Dallas to teach, I wanted to teach in a place that people didn't know Jesus. And he definitely gave me that in the sweetest way. And so I had coworkers who did not know Jesus, and I had students who didn't know Jesus, and it was just a really dark place. And in that, God gave me a heart for them. And I loved those people more than I ever thought that I could. And I think in that is what came the passion to share Jesus with them. Because I think you can't love someone and not want to share something that you know brings peace to them. In my life, God has just really created opportunities for me to share the gospel with people. Another one of my coworkers, on our first day of new teacher orientation, she came up to me and said, are you a Christian? And I said, yes. And she said, I want to know more about Jesus. And so I was able to share the gospel with her, and we ended up moving in together and really did a lot of life on life discipleship as she became a believer, and took care of me in that accident season too. And so I think that was a really humbling, sweet time for me to see that even in my injury and pain, that someone who I had been discipling then had the opportunity to come alongside and minister to me in a really needed way. When you know people and love people who don't have that truth and that peace, how can we not share it with them? The encouragement is, be friends with people who don't know Jesus. It doesn't have to be this really grandiose moment. It's living life with people who think differently from you and using opportunities that may seem completely out of the normal. And God opens up doors to share the gospel with them. And so it really is just a work of his Spirit in that.